Oh,
I'm
someone's joined.
confused.
14.
I'm confused. Is the stream actually running already? Because it told me gameplay recording. Oh,
Uh,
okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, we're good. We're in. We're in.
we good? We're up. We're solid. We're
Apparently,
gaming.
yeah.
We got
Okay,
a
so it appears we
steady
have a drive
stream.
qualifying. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I just noticed that. It's dry. Wow.
We only have 13 people.
Should be 14. Someone did just join.
We have one person watching, and that's me. So yeah, let's just do the intro for nobody watching. So welcome everyone.
No one. Welcome, no one.
Welcome no one to CWR Season 3 Round 2 around Silverstone. We have very low attendance as you can see. So people that have two people from the same team might actually just get the lead of the constructors just right off the bat. Yeah, we're starting qualifying. And it appears to be dry, but we're supposed to have changeable conditions. Don't know if that's going to apply to qualifying or the race. But yeah, nonetheless, okay, it's now 14 people, and people that aren't in the league are apparently joined in. So I don't recognize Trigger isn't supposed to be here. F1 Hub isn't supposed to be here. Kimmy isn't supposed to be here normally, but yeah, here we are. Apparently here we are.
I think Trigger is a full-time driver. I know he drove in Tier 2, but I think he's a reserve for Tier 2 and full-time here. And F1 Hub could be a reserve. As we're low on numbers for this race, but we had a pretty good turnout last weekend.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
For Britain, it's a bit low now, but we've got a couple reserves in. ASDF Kimmy, for example, is a reserve. He's battling for the lead of the championship in Tier 2 after having a good race last time out. But we're here talking about Tier 1, and who do you think is going to come out on top here in Britain?
Jeez, Britain is such an unpredictable circuit, especially because of changeable conditions and obviously carnage. Duh. So
yeah.
like, yeah, it's very difficult to predict, mostly because Preston is not here. He's probably not gonna be here. Maybe if he fixes his internet somehow, but it could literally be just anyone. But I'm still counting on the safe bet that Rythims, Jordy, Alonso, and Preston are all gonna be fighting for the championship. So any one of those four, well, three, because of the disconnection, has a good shot of winning. I don't know. What's your bet?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to say because this track is quite difficult to master. But I think it's going to be between Rytims, Geordie, Scuderia, and maybe we have some other people coming in.
Yeah, speaking of other people coming in, look at that, Skills Virus beating the favors that we were talking about with a very nice time actually, with 124.7, better than Rythims, Geordie, or Matmar. So good start to the qualifying session for him.
Yeah, it's good to see this. More people getting involved. It makes the fight for the top spot a lot closer, which is exciting for us. As we want more people getting involved for the fight for the championship, as it makes the season far more interesting and has the championship fight going all the way to the very last race. So that's what we're hoping for here.
Yeah, it's basically a fight between Preston and his Wi-Fi until the end of the season. So this is a golden opportunity for anyone that wants to be further up the standings in front of Preston, because I don't think they're gonna enjoy it for long, but yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, I mean, he's been having a few issues this season. He had the forgetting his setup with last race, so he was a bit slower, not as fast as he should have been, and he suffered in that race, and that dropped him off the podium positions. And also this weekend he's now having internet troubles, so he can't get out there. And I mean, hopefully he can get in before the race starts, but I don't know whether how it's looking for him. So that's one competitor down already in the first two races, not scoring as well as he should have.
Yeah, the season has been shortened down to 12 races, so every single race counts more than like last season. So missing 1/6 of the season, it sounds like not much, but when your competitors are winning the races, you're really under a lot of pressure coming back. And yeah, speaking of people that aren't supposed to be in the league, F1 Hub just goes on to the pole position. I think that F1 Hub is just X-Felix1, the former driver of this league, and he owns an Instagram page called F1 Hub, so I'm guessing it's him. But yeah, he's not supposed to be racing anyway.
I think... I'm not entirely sure, but I think he is a reserve for this weekend. I mean, as you know, we've got shortages of drivers for this one, so you know, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure he should. Hopefully, he's a reserve and hasn't found his way in here.
Somehow. Let's hope it's not a random, like it was in a Tier 2 race last week.
Yeah, last week we had someone who wasn't supposed to be there getting into the race. Luckily didn't cause any carnage, which is good, because usually when people get in like that, they usually just are out there to have a demolition derby, but that wasn't the case, luckily.
Yeah, the Norwegian boy isn't allowed to join the Tier 1 races, thankfully. So we are kind of safe from that type of carnage, but yeah, it's definitely not a guarantee that we won't see any big incidents going forward. So for the sake of just calling out the name tags, let's just say that F1 Hub is on pole position, and let's not say X-Felix1 because that would be confusing. So he's going to be leading so far in the first half of qualifying by only 700ths of a second from Skills Virus, a person that we haven't seen at the top of the leaderboard last week as of joining this league. So good, nice change in the scoreboard. Behind him we have Rhythms with 124.8. Then Scuderia Alonso, Jordi with basically identical times. Also with Matt Marso. The field is supposed to it's going to be competitive, at least at the top of the leaderboard. Not sure if that's going to last though.
Yeah, well, it's looking very close. You know, P4 and 6 are separated by only a couple hundredths of a second, and that was only on their first lap as well, so they should get faster as the session progresses. I mean, you've got the top 3 coming out here already in the 24s. F1 Hub is well into the 24s. So hopefully we get more people in the 24s, and it can be as close as it possibly can at the top of the top here. I'm hoping for more quick lap times coming in.
Yeah, at least it's not the case like usually, where people just risk going to the end of the qualifying session without a lap in, and then it makes our job harder to commentate interesting stuff, and also their job harder to actually get a good lap in.
Yeah, it's not an ideal strategy doing that. Some people have made it work in other leagues, in other races. Some people really at the death door are able to get in one lap that's quick enough. But it's really not a strategy you want to use, as it really does not help. As I think that's another one coming in now, so we should have 15, and maybe you can get yourself on the leaderboard towards the end of the session.
Yeah, but it's also a person that's not in this league, and Bemby just invalidated his lap, so he's not getting higher up the order. But look at that, Jordi beating his 4 competitors that he was before behind, and right now he's on pole by only 400ths of a second to F1 Hub. But nonetheless, yeah, it's pole position, and it's someone that is actually participating in this league. So very good stuff from Jordi. He was P2 last race and definitely wasn't far off of challenging for P1 with the 2-stop that was far more effective than the 1-stop that the rest of the field was using. But never mind, Rhythm's just beaten his time by 1/10 of a second. So the field is very competitive at the top, but yeah, it's the same people all over again. So the argument of having having unusual people at the top is kind of disintegrating in our hands.
Yeah, Jordy had a great race last weekend, a brilliant strategy call, so we're hoping to see more of that today, because that was really good. And it's a lot of the same names getting up to the top, but that's usually what you see. The quickest guys are always going to be towards the top, but we've got a couple more. As there's an AlphaTauri stopped on the track.
He was just taking a nap. Leave him alone.
It's Kimi there. I think he spun coming out of that fast right-hander. But yeah, no, it's looking very, very tight at the top, which is brilliant to see as the faster times are coming in now towards the end of the session. But yeah, hopefully there'll be more changes to the lead as we get towards the end.
Yeah, Jado is finally going to set a time, and it's only good enough for P7. So definitely not the best time he can do around Silverstone. He's capable of much more. He also had some problems in the last race. That's why he wasn't towards the top, and he actually disconnected or DNF'd, I can't remember. But yeah, that was another issue for another championship contender. So let's hope the championship standings might get shuffled up a little bit. But thanks for the intel that there's gonna be a wet race 10 minutes in. So yeah, not sure what to think about that. How much the strategy will get shuffled because of it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It does neutralize a lot of the differing strategies a lot, but the conditions can promote racing. It slows people down, and although it's tricky, we could see some pretty impressive moves done in the wet, but the dry period of the race should be alright. I think it'll only be, I reckon it might only be inters, although it might get worse than that, and it might have to go on to wets, but well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, another person who invalidated his time. People are really pushing towards the end of qualifying. The only person that actually set a lap on mediums was Cremo and Trigger. Trigger is going to be starting towards the back of the grid, so I would just say fuck it and go on to softs anyway. But yeah, we're seeing basically the whole field in the pit lane, just waiting for the last opportunity to get on the track in its grippiest form possible. Only have 4 minutes left, so yeah, it's just gonna be a waiting game.
Just watching Mimula on his lap here. Game did say he had a purple sector 1, although I really I doubt that's true, because the game always does that with your first run. It says you get purple. He's had a couple of lockups.
Yeah, but Bambi actually has a purple first sector by 1/10, and he is not on his first run, so that looks very promising. He's 2 seconds off pole position, so he really needs to improve here.
It could be looking good for McLaren. They've got F1 Hub there up in third for McLaren, and if Ben B can improve on that time and get a bit higher up, if he's going in fastest, then that'd be brilliant for McLaren.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jordy is supposed to be in the McLaren. Why is he not in the McLaren right now?
He was a reserve for last season, so he might have been signed by Racing Point, or he might just be a reserve for Racing Point again.
But literally last week he's listed as a McLaren driver.
Yeah, I think his points go to McLaren that he scored in the last race, but as he's only a reserve, he's the free agent for every team to use.
Oh.
So he scores points for a team that he drives for on the weekend, and
yeah, that's kind of sad if he's performing so well and he's not in any team. That really kills the competition.
It does. I mean, I hope he should be alright as driver championship wise. He should be fine. But it'd be a real shame for a constructor to waste the potential and the points that he's scoring if he's dishing them out equally to every team if he's not a reserve. So hopefully Racing Point have snapped him up.
Maybe it's a thing that this league is doing, that you know, just to get the team principals involved somehow. You just switch drivers around each weekend to just try to get the best result possible. But yeah, Jordi kind of having a Hulkenberg complex with switching teams and being a free agent. But the thing is, last race he was on the podium, so he doesn't have the Hulkenberg complex after all.
No, he has a podium under his belt, and he's gonna be gunning for the win this weekend. So if he's not signed up to any team, then maybe I don't think there are any team principals yet, or if there even will be any. But yeah, hopefully he has a full-time drive with a team that can help them with the constructors, because it would be a real waste of having a close constructors battle if we've got drivers hopping about between teams. But it does look as if the drivers' championship might be really, really closely contested. So we just have to see how this race goes, and hopefully we have a different podium and a close drivers' championship battle.
Yeah, let's hope words will stop escaping us today, like Wi-Fi is escaping Preston's computer. But yeah, last minute of the qualifying session, people are finally coming out for their last laps. Nobody risking trying the medium qualifying session run, but okay, look at that, Matmar with a 124.4, which means he's top of the leaderboard all of a sudden. Like, he was P7 or 8 just few seconds before, and yeah, that's a big improvement for him. So really a shuffle at the front yet again.
Yeah, and these the last very last part of the session, the faster times will start flying in as the track has rubbered up a bit more, and I'm hoping to see a lot more of that. Matmar on pole currently, and hopefully the rest that are in the 25s can improve. And just looking at the chat, I can see from Preston that we have an official word that Jordi is a Racing Point driver for the remainder of the season. So he should be helping Racing Point score as many points and go for the constructors.
Yeah, it's a shame he just kind of shot Racing Point in the foot by getting a good result in the McLaren. Kind of working against himself there, but I'm not one to judge. So, Formula 1 hub with a purple first sector. I don't know how the second sector was for him, but this is surely gonna be a good lap, and it's gonna be P1. Look at that, 24.2. We also missed the Crimo, improved on himself a lot, and he's now P3 with a 124.5. He's not gonna be contesting anymore. Rhythm's improved 124.3 now, but it's not enough for Formula 1 hub, so Matmar is gonna get demoted down to P3, and that's the end of the qualifying for him because he's in the pit lane. Jordi the same thing, but look at that, Skills Virus just only by 0.02 of a second beats F1 hub and gets pole position anyway. So even though Crimo improved on himself a lot, and he was for a second P2, he jumps down to P6. And he's not going to improve. He's not on a hot lap, but Alonso still is, and he's the last person who can shuffle up the grid a little bit. So let's have a look at his lap, because that's going to be very important how the grid is going to line up in the end. But that doesn't look like a competitive lap time.
No,
okay.
He's out of fuel. He's run out of fuel in the final sector there, which is unfortunate for him. So no improvement. And he's in P7, so that's it for qualifying. That is your order for the race.
Alright, so no more shuffling anymore, but okay, so Skills Virus and F1 Hub, people that we haven't seen literally at the top of the leaderboard or in the league. Now in P1 and 2, a very close qualifying session, like first 3 people separated by 0.06 of a second. So how about that? Even though we have low attendance, at least we have a competitive attendance.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see the amount of people that have made it into the 24s and how close they are to each other. I mean, Scuderia Alonso, he was... I don't know where he came in qualifying last race, but he was on the podium, and he's down in 7th this time around, but only 0.4 off pole, which is not bad at all. And yeah, so I'm hoping that the race will be as close as this, and just hope we have a good one.
Yeah, the first top 10 is surrounded just by 1 second in the qualifying, so yeah, it's a good start. But yeah, changeable conditions, Silverstone, um, yeah,
Anything can happen.
anyone can win. Yeah, anyone.
I mean, interesting to see with the strategy who hits first for the wet weather tyre or the intermediates, whichever it will be. It should be the intermediate tyre, but it just depends how heavy the rain gets, how fast it gets,
And when. That's also
and
a
when.
thing.
Yeah,
Because it
10
doesn't
minutes
appear
in
on the
should
screen.
be.
On the screen, it
Hmm,
doesn't appear to be raining though. So
not yet. So it's dry for first, and then apparently it's supposed to be wet 10 minutes into the race.
yeah, so it's gonna be vital to stay off damage, off collisions, because you don't want to get dragged into a long pit lane like this before you need to change the tires. Because one extra
Yeah.
pit stop, yeah, that's your race ruined basically.
Yeah, I think we might see a couple gambling here, especially down the back end of the grid. Because if you nail it perfectly for the time that you want to switch over to the intermediates, you can be so much faster than everyone else out on track and really get a big advantage to come out ahead of those that you want to get ahead of. You get away for the formation lap here. There's a Red Bull not moving away off the line there,
Alright,
but
so
everyone's got there
Anu and
safely.
Trigger gonna start on mediums, the rest are gonna start on soft, so maybe they see something we don't.
Yeah, I'd say you'd probably want to start on the soft if it is going to rain partway through the race. I think the soft tire would be the tire you'd want to have the pace advantage, and then go from the softs to the wet weather tire. I mean, you won't swerve immediately once it starts raining, and that's sort of the most dangerous part where you're on the dry tires and the track starts to get a little greasy. So it'll take all the drivers' concentration and care in that part of the race just to make sure they don't slip up and crash out or spin. So it'd be interesting to see what they think they can do on that medium tyre.
Yeah, because of how competitive the field looks like it is right now, there's also a big difference to look at in how good the players are on the dry slash wet conditions, because we might see people maybe struggling a bit more on the dries, and then in the wet period they might be even better. So it really is anyone's game right to the last lap, because
Mm.
anything can happen in changeable conditions in a league race that has a reputation of a lot of carnage, and also because it's just Silverstone.
Yeah, it can be, turn one especially. At the start of the race, you're all packed together, and it's that very almost sometimes can be flat. It will be flat for the start of the race, and I can see, a little bit of a tap will cause a spin, which will cause carnage further back as they're so tightly packed together going through there. No one's going to want to give an inch. So we can definitely see some carnage going through there. Hopefully it gets away clean, but only time will tell.
Yes, 26 laps ahead of us as the grid is lining up finally. So half the grid is from CWR, half the grid is just reserves, but let's count it as a normal race. And yeah, we have 3, 4, 5 lights, and away we go. That was a long hold in Silverstone, but here we are at the start of the second round. The scoreboard is glitching again, as is always the case. Let's hope we avoid some carnage. Look at that. So many cars running wide immediately at the first corner, but it doesn't look like anyone was entangled in a collision. But F1 Hub did go off track a little bit there, but somehow got the overtake done on Skills Virus, so he takes the lead. Matmar also jumped Rhythms at the start, so he goes up into P3 and Rhythms back down to P4. Cremo P5, Alonso P6, and Jordi looks like lost a lot of positions at the start. It looks like Mimula got got the worst start of them all. Let's have a look at the position changes, and yeah, there was an accident involving Anu and Mimula, probably. I don't know what happened there. Oh, look at that! Scuderia Alonso is out immediately after Cops. Oh, that's unfortunate, and we have virtual safety car. Alright, so one of the championship contenders is out immediately. There was a collision that we didn't see. What was that? Oh, Skills Virus is off the track as well. Oh no. Okay, so front wing damage for him. He's lost place. That was an accident involving the Mackens and Beckett's complex. When all of a sudden, two people involved in a championship fight have their races ruined, quite literally.
That's Anu, who's gone off. He's got himself a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags as they go into the pits to try and get their wings changed. We'll check the penalties. So Anu has a 5-second time penalty, which he'll serve in this pit stop, I do believe, and Tim is a 3-second. They're going really slowly on the pit lane there. That was strange. But as everyone else has gotten underway, it does look like they'll be their race is over. As he goes onto the medium tire, Skills hopefully he's trying to go deep into the race, but with the rain looming, that could bring people back in. It could bring them back into it, but just unfortunate start for them.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't see any of this, but that was exactly what I was mentioning in qualifying, that you do not want to find yourself in the pit lane in this type of situation, and it's exactly what happened for Skills Virus. So yeah, it's gonna be half a lap down just because of the front wing change and the long pit lane, and he's gonna be looking at F1 Hub with jealousy, comfortably leading the top train at the end of lap 2. So F1 Hub overtook him. Mattmar got up 1 position just because of Skills Virus, and that's a yellow flag for some reason. That's Lewis with damage. Another collision probably at the end of the Beckett's complex.
Yeah, so Mimula 1. I think with Mimula 1, Mimula has got some front wing damage, end plate missing, but has decided to keep on going with that damage.
And also Trigger is in the pit lane as well. Okay, so out of 15 people, we have 14 racing, and 4 of them already are basically out of contention for any good result.
A lot of wing changes.
Yeah, just because of avoiding all the carnage, you can get up a lot of position. The prime example of this is Mattmar, who got up 3 or 4 positions just by, existing, and is still really close to F1 Hub. So once the DRS window opens, he's gonna be really dangerous contender for the race lead. At the top of the pack, we can see DRS train forming with the top 4 separated by half a second, and then the 2 racing points behind them are gonna try to chase them down. Doesn't look like they have some sort of handicap, so once the field start battling, they shouldn't be out of the question for who's gonna get some good points. Yeah.
I think F1 Hub had a little bit of a problem there. He went quite wide through.
Oh yeah, he actually lost the race lead.
And he was very slow on exit. Mattmar got the sling around that corner, got the DRS, and managed to get himself ahead. So now Mattmar leads this race.
But he has a penalty.
He does have a penalty. What penalty is that? He got that.
It's
I think
corner
he got
cutting.
that one ran wide. Yeah, he ran quite wide after the national pit stray, and is that Lewis or is that Anu?
It's Anu yet again.
Yeah, in the wall. That's going to be another wing change for him.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! F1 Hub going for the race lead yet again into the inside after the Wellington straight, and he does it. He does it. There's no battle involving Luffield. He just gets the move done before it, and he's back in the race lead. That's Lewis in another accident, just at the same place where Anu had an accident, it looks like. Yeah, so was it worth it for Mattmar to get that penalty to briefly lead the race and now be stuck in a DRS train like this?
I mean, some of the penalties are beginning to rack up for some drivers. It can be quite difficult to hold yourself within track limits, but it will
Yeah,
really
but look at that,
harm.
Williams trying to have a look into the inside of Mapmar. Doesn't work out though. The DRS train is holding them in place, which ironically the DRS is supposed to make you faster and not be stuck in place, but yeah, that's what's happening, and the racing points are getting really close. They've gained like a second just off the last lap, just out of these people battling. And Anu is going to be a lap down already, and we're only on lap 5. It's his second stop of the day. And Rytim's actually made a pass onto Matmar, just we had a very terrible camera angle to show you there, but it looks like Matmar got overtaken by Rytims, but if you look closely, let's go for the onboard. Yeah, the rain is falling. Small drops of rain already falling on the circuit. And that's gonna spice things up even more.
This is where it begins to get rather tricky for the drivers. You're gonna want to try and avoid
Lewis is already on the
inters. Yeah, already. That's a bold move. I do believe the rain had only just started.
Yeah, he's almost a lap down.
He's not quick at all. That's very slow through Maggots Beckett. It's an interesting strategy call there for him. I don't think it's exactly going to work, but yeah, for these other drivers that are on the softs, they're going to want to. It's going to be dangerous through Maggots and Beckett's because they aren't going to.
Well, look at that! Rytim's going to make a move for the lead of the race, but it doesn't work out. Actually, Cremo made a move onto Matmar, and Matmar loses another position. So 2 positions lost inside of 1 lap. That's not.
He goes for a dive and he's tapped him. He went for a dive. He might have front wing damage. It doesn't look like he does. He doesn't. It could be some very.
But that was dangerous.
Damage.
That was really dangerous.
I think the track is starting to get a bit greasy here, as it did seem as though he touched the curb on the outside coming to the braking zone, and that led him to sort of slide a bit. And he went straight forward and tapped the back of Kramer and spun him round. As Lewis goes, there he goes, he spins on that intermediate tyre. It's probably way too hot as the tyre heats up, but I don't think it's too wet yet. The curbs certainly will start getting greasy, and we might see a couple drivers spin on the curbs. I'd say that's
not what we want to see. Out of 15 drivers, we only have only 8 in actual normal contention for any kind of race result. So let's hope we don't have that many accidents, and normal racing drivers will be struggling a lot as they are just anxiously waiting for the call into the pit lane, but they know it's not the right decision yet. It's a terrible place to be in right now.
Top 10 are the only drivers on slick tyres right now. Mimula pits onto the intermediates. Don't know whether it's the right call, but Skills finds himself back in the points after the disastrous start for him. As I think that's Lewis spinning again, and that's got to be some hefty front wing damage as he clatters into the wall. He just can't get the car moving. There's Arnu's now left, so we're dropping like flies here.
Alright, after 7 laps the rain is falling down, but still not good enough for the change onto the inters. The thing is, these guys probably won't have a problem with pitting whenever they want to, but the racing points behind the top 4 train are gonna have it really tricky in negotiating who's gonna be the first one to do the pit lane. Let's hope they don't miscommunicate and double stack. That's gonna really ruin Jado's race there. But they are still really struggling to hold on to the top 4 train, but are not falling out just yet. So if there's a chaos in the pit lane, if there's something else happening, they are still very much in contention. And look at that, we missed yet another move, and Cremo is in P2 and attacking P1 shortly. Let's see if on the Hamilton straight he can make the move. He does have DRS, and if One Hub doesn't, he has the speed, he has the overtake, and look at that, he's gonna go for the move. Maybe done even before the braking zone, and yes he does, so Cremo goes into the lead of the race. And that's gonna spice the chat up at least a little bit.
Cremo is looking very, very comfortable in this sort of condition. I mean, he did a move down the inside.
Right, him and Matmar in the pit lane.
He did a move down the inside at the end of the Wellington Straight for P2, and now he's got P1. He seems to be pulling away a bit, so it looked like his rear end was stepping out there for a minute, but I think they will be coming into box for the intermediates at the end of this lap, unless he feels comfortable enough to go on for another couple of laps, but it's getting slippy out there now.
Yeah, Rhythms, Jado and Mantmar already making the decision to go onto the Inter, so they will be the first ones attempting the undercut, but will it work out? Only time will tell once the field goes into the pit lane. But yeah, F1 Hub is losing touch with Cremo, so he's really enjoying these conditions. F1 Hub already down 1.5 seconds after just half a lap after being overtaken by Cremo, so this is a really interesting prospect, maybe even for a race victory, who knows.
It's Lewis off again. He's on the... What is he doing? He's on the hard tyre.
Who?
Lewis has boxed at some point to put on the hard tyre when he was on the intermediates, and he's obviously not going to get any traction down with those on. An interesting strategy call. Will it work? No, it won't.
Yeah, as a commentator, you are supposed to stay neutral and diplomatic, but it's kind of hard when you see a decision like this.
I think he's realised his mistake, and he's come in to fit on hopefully some intermediates. But everyone else has decided to box now. As who's the closest behind to maybe able to take them? I think it's
right. It's gonna be in the virtual race lead if he manages to overtake those in the pit lane.
Jump him. Yeah, I reckon he's going to jump them here. It's a very long pit lane.
Well, Cremo is arriving at the end of it now, and he's just arriving at the start-finish straight.
It's going to be very, very tight here. Coming around the first corner, it's comfortably ahead as Rhythms slots back into P3.
So the undercut didn't work, and DRS is disabled, so we are eventually in rainy conditions after 9 laps. So it basically was 10 minutes after the race started, the rain starting to fall, so a good information from the person that told us that at the qualifying.
Hopefully, it might get heavy. Is that Williams? That's Timbed who spun turn 1.
Yeah, but the window of the drivers that are in contention for a good result is shortening as time goes on. Bemby falling off the pace, and Kimi with Mapmar battling for P6, and then those 2 racing points still finding their way into the top 4 train, but it looks like that Mapmar had some sort of an incident, maybe he did a front wing change or something, but he fallen down to P6, very far from the train that he was previously a part of. So it's just the top 3 train that the 2 racing points are chasing.
Geordie's coming up on the back of Rhythms right now, so I believe it's now turned into a top 4 fight. Geordie might really like these conditions because he does look pretty fast, and he could be going for a move. As AWS has just told me now's the time to pit.
Virtual safety car, so Timbed retired or just spun.
He's had a crash with Mignola 1. Mignola going slowly with a lot of damage. I think they've had a crash on the national pit straight. How's that happened? Yeah, he's got half of his wing missing. And he's sort of limping around as if he has a puncture. He doesn't. But he's got half a wing missing. I don't know how has that happened. I don't know how that's happened. That's Timbed out, and that's a virtual safety car.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't get a normal safety car for things like this.
Oh my god. Rhythms has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. That's going to take him out of contention. That's going to promote Geordie into the podium place and Jato to P4. It'll promote a lot of people up.
I don't know how does the Stewart team decide on these safety car penalties. I know they take out the 5-second ones during the safety car, but do they take out the drive-throughs?
Well, it's pretty. You can't go above the delta. can't speed under the virtual safety car, and it has the delta there for you to see. You've got to stay under it, and if you don't, then it's an unfair advantage and you get a drive through. So unfortunately, even if it was only a fraction of a second over, it's it's unfortunate, but it's nothing that can be done about it.
And Rytham's immediately going to serve the drive through, so the top 4 or 5 fight shortening down just to 3 people, but Cremo is still maintaining a nice gap to F1 Hub, just 2 seconds. So really forcing F1 Hub to do something about his pace, or else he's not gonna do well in fighting for the race victory. He got a little bit of a twitch at the end of Abbey there, so he's probably feeling the pressure and is trying to push like crazy, but the gap is just widening and widening, and maybe allowing Jordi to slip into the fight for P2. But behind them, Jado is really falling behind, and Kimi actually overtook Matmar, so Matmar's race was really a roller coaster, going from up to down to up and to down again, and we're already only on lap 11, so the second half of the race could be just as dramatic for him as the first one.
Yeah, we could always see the conditions worsen here. Enough for wet weather tyres. Rytams has come back on track for P7 here. But it's one of the more crueler pit lanes to have a drive-through penalty because he's dropped from the leader. How far back from the leader is he now? Let's have a look. He is, he's 27 seconds down. As
that's not what you want.
I think, is that Matt? No, it's Lewis. No, it's Lewis. It's Lewis. Sorry, it's Lewis.
You gave me a scare there.
I saw a Ferrari, and oh my god, it's as if he's got soap on his tires. The amount he's spinning.
I don't know why he still insists on actually finishing the race if he's gonna be outside of the points.
I mean, I don't think he cares at this point. He went onto the hards from intermediates, so it was an interesting strategy call. And he's got to be careful with other drivers around him. He doesn't want to be taking out anyone and getting himself some big penalties for that. But Cremo is really just running away with this lead. He's extended it to 3 seconds, and that is increasing.
Last race he only finished 9th, which is not that great, but he's shown great pace in qualifying last week, so maybe coming back from the dead to shuffle up the grid and the championship standings yet again. Don't know how F1 Hub will play out once the championship gets somehow into effect, but okay. Well, we're halfway through the race, and the field, as expected, is very much spread out, with Cremo extending the gap with each corner he's taking, definitely better in wet track conditions than F1 Hub, and he is also worse than Jordi on those wet tires, because look at Jordi, he got the gap from 1.8 seconds down to 4/10 already, so an overtake will be lining up, and Jado doesn't seem to be neither falling back, neither closing the gap. He's just kind of staying where he is. Maybe the fighting between those two will somehow help him get further up the grid, but as it stands, a comfortable P4, still nice 12 points. But it's kind of boring for him.
Yeah, Jordi's really starting to put F1 Hub under some pressure. Along the straights, he might pull out onto the wetter part of the circuit to cool the tyres down a bit. And just sort of let him know that he's there and he's ready to make an overtake should the opportunity arise. He almost gets a little bit of oversteer coming out of that corner. But as it stands, it's looking like Jordi might take control of the championship, with Rytams all the way down in 7th, and also Racing Point could take charge of the
I don't think they will. I don't think they will, as it stands, because Williams might get at least some points off at this race, and they are...
either McLaren or Renault could possibly have a shoe in there, but with one Williams not scoring as many points as they would have hoped, and one Williams not being able to even race to score points, it's going to be interesting to see how the constructors shapes up after this. But I think the drivers will definitely have a bit of a shuffle after this one. And
the shuffle
Jordan's still
may
gonna
as
be
well
looking.
continue because Jordy is still putting a lot of pressure, but the gap hasn't changed since last lap. But the gap has changed between those two and Jado, who is now half a second closer to them. So if he keeps up this pace, he might as well have a chance of joining the P2 fight. But Cremo is still very comfortable in P1. But the rain is still falling down, and we have no idea how heavy it is for the drivers. So when they will be thinking about pitting for the wets or other intermediates, that's still outside of our knowledge.
I reckon they would probably be able to carry these this set of intermediates to the end of the race, should the rain not continue to fall, although it is continuing to fall. And it is looking a little wet out there, so we could end up seeing wet weather tyres coming in. I mean, we've got, we're more than halfway through the race. We've only got a few laps left, about 12, but that's enough for it to get wet enough for wet tyres. So we could see another gamble here as to whether people might pit onto wets or stay with the intermediates to go to the end, as the pit lane is really long here.
Yeah, Rytham's really felt the longitude of the pit lane. He's not gonna be thinking very fondly of the race at Silverstone. Thankfully, the next race will be at Hungary, so get ready for lots of overtakes.
Yeah, we've got a perfect example of whether or not it's ready for wet tyres. If you ever want to know, just have a look at Lewis and how he's doing, because he's decided to pit for the wet weather tyre. I went to have a look at him. He'd spun around Woodcote. He's been spinning a lot this race, which is unfortunate for him and Ferrari. But he's been taking a lot of gambles with the strategy, and he's decided to put himself on the wet weather tyre. It won't work. Unfortunately, he's too far behind. But yeah, he's fishing out of every corner. I really do not think it's time for the wet weather tyre. But it's I guess you should try it anyway if you're that far behind. Just gamble. He's going round again.
Yeah, he's just trying to be an example to everyone what the strategy is like. He might switch again to the inters and just wait until the end of the race to give them an example how the inters will be looking like. And he gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he retired, thankfully, in the pit lane to avoid being involved in the race. So at least thanks for that.
About penalties now, is he got himself a 5-second going to the pits. Not that it matters now as he's retired, but the top 4 are the only ones without a penalty in this race. Kimi, Rytims, Ben, Mimula and Arnu have 3 seconds, with Skills having 5, and Matmar with a 9-second penalty. So that will definitely promote Rytims up ahead of him, as the rain does look pretty heavy.
Yeah, unfortunate start to the season for Matmar. He was performing really well last week as well, and then the penalties and all that just got involved in that. But also, like, Matmar, a competitor for pole position, started really well and then just got so many penalties, and yeah, very unlucky.
Yeah,
but maybe his time will come. And for now, he's just letting Cremo enjoy the reins of being in P1.
Yeah, Cremo's been doing fantastic in this weather. It must be his specialty. He's got the gap now to about 4.3 seconds, and it seems to be staying around that distance. It goes to 4.4 now. Geordie does seem to be dropping back a little. He was a lot closer in the last lap, by about 0.2 closer. Still within a second, but that's without DRS. That's not going to do much for you. But yeah, no, the wet weather in this track is a difficult combination for overtaking. It really is.
10 laps to go, and Jordy still hasn't made the move on to F1 Hub. Is it because of DRS, or is he just not good enough as when it comes to exits off to the overtaking spots? Only time will tell. He is closer still. At going into Stowe, he's only 1.5 tenths behind F1 Hub, but the move is still not coming. F1 Hub is really working well with keeping him at bay. But Jado is really catching this duo right now, as he was 5 laps ago around 4.5 seconds. Now it's only 2.5 seconds, so he still has time to join the fight. And in case someone spins, speaking of spinning, Kimi is out. And the safety car is out. So, okay. Okay, so another retirement of the day, but the safety car will bring us together.
Okay, that's a strange placement. He's lost his rear left tire, and his rear left tire is in the entrance to the pit lane, and where his car is left is really strange. I can't figure out how that has happened. I really cannot figure out how that's happened.
I only saw him flying and then resetting on the track and then retiring, so I can't tell you more.
Right.
Matmar with a drive-through. After hoping that his race could get restarted, this is what happens.
Well, it's a safety car, so although he has a drive-through, he could still recover, although I don't think this is exactly what he wanted with the 10 seconds of penalties. It certainly isn't. Yeah. It does bring Geordie, F1 Hub, Cremo and Jato much closer together. I don't think the rest really have a chance with the penalties they've got on. Right Tim's can recover from this as well after getting his drive-through earlier, but with that 3-second time penalty, I don't know. I'm going to have a look at the warnings people have got just to see.
Matt Mark got another 3-second time penalty. Okay, but the thing is, we have a lot of people outside of the big fights. The question is, who can get through the safety car and unlap themselves, and who will not? Let's have an example of this. Skills Virus almost a lap down, and now is about to pass the safety car, but I'm guessing it will let him through. It will catch the leader. And yeah, Skills Virus is going to be the only person to be allowed to unlap himself. And then Cremo will stop the whole grid. F1 Hub and Jado both in the pit lane.
For a fresh set of intermediates.
Well, it doesn't look like the weather conditions will be that much worse in the next 8 laps towards the end of the race, so it's kind of logical. But yeah, he's losing only 1 position on track as a sacrifice to better tires. No. I think that's a good... Oh, Cremo and Jordi both get a penalty for colliding with each other. Oh no.
That penalty should be removed. However, what cannot be removed is the amount of front wing damage Jordi now has. It's quite substantial, and he has to limp. Well, he can't even go. He has to stay behind the safety car, allow everyone else to catch up, and then he has to pit for the new wing. It's really unfortunate. I don't know. I just caught the end of it happening, of Jordi running into the back of Cremo. I'm sure we'll see their POVs in the stewards area, see what happened there with that. But it's really unfortunate for Jordi, looking so good, and now he's going to have to pit. He gets a new set of intermediates, but he has to change that front wing and
cost him track position and also the penalty.
Yeah, he'll have to serve the penalty. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. So he won't have the 5 seconds removed.
He's gonna fall down to P5, maybe P6. Who knows? Yeah, that's not what you want. Yeah, well, fortunate end to Jordi's fight for the win. Don't know how that's gonna work with inviting people over to the interview room, if we are considering the penalties getting lifted, or are we doing just what the official results tell us?
Oh, and he's got himself another 5 seconds for speeding.
Oh, come
in the
on.
pit lane.
Well, okay, so he's gonna get a 5-second penalty anyway after this race. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is really unfortunate. Just to really, really pile it on him. He's lost his positions. He's down to probably what will be P5. But he's gonna have unless it gets rid of.
If you excuse me, I'm just gonna take a quick bathroom break before the safety car ends. You handle it for me.
I will. Yeah, so that's only the 5 seconds been taken off from his time. He'll have to deal with the other 5 towards the end of the race, which will really, really hurt his chances, as there's not a lot of time to get ahead of people, and everyone will be bunched up. He won't even keep P4. Oh, because Writings is pit also. Because he got himself for 5 seconds. Was that disqualification I saw? Mimula has been disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags. So, wow, okay. He's been disqualified from the session, which puts him in last place. He won't even score a point. That promotes Kimi, who crashed out in 11th, up to P10. So although Kimi has crashed, he has overtaken 4 points. And now we only have the top 9. So everyone that's racing here now is confirmed to have points. Kimi's got some surprised, a surprise point to put himself on the scoreboard here, even though he's a reserve. But no, Geordie will be dropping back down the order a bit here. We've got to wait for Writings and Skills to catch up. Arnu won't be able to pass.
What did I miss?
You missed Mimula getting disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags.
Oh.
So we're now down to 9 runners, which promotes Kimi, who crashed out, into the points. And so that was what happened.
Alright, so Jordy rejoined in P5. That got Matmar up to P4. Rhythm's P7, did he pit as well?
He did, yes, he did.
Oh, and that's Matmar in the pit lane. What happened there?
He's a drive-through. He has to serve. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't served that already. And that is Geordie and Benby having a okay. So Geordie doesn't have an added 5 seconds, but
thank God.
Benby does. I don't know what happened there because I caught an awkward angle of it. He's got wing damage.
Who, Geordie or Benby?
Benby's got wing damage now. And Cremo's got a 5-second time penalty now.
For what?
I don't know.
That's the older penalty.
Yeah, that's for my
right. Just for the sake of the interview room, like, are we inviting Cremo even though he's gonna be demoted because of the penalty? I don't know how to operate
Preston
with
is
this.
here, if Preston is here, he can give me a word on it.
If we are supposed to obey the official results or just lift.
Yeah, I mean,
penalty.
I would say myself. I would say that the 5 seconds taken off, although I haven't seen what happened. So if it is a severe reduction of speed down the straight that caused the incident, then it's a deserved penalty for Cremo. We might have to just go with the official results for the interview, and then because
I don't have Cremo added anyway.
Yeah, so all that matters is the points that he gets if it does get taken away. It's unfortunately you won't get the interview, but I just say for now go off with official results,
okay,
and then have everything sorted out afterwards because we need to review what happened before we can know for sure. But yeah, well, it's only F1 Hub and J2 now without penalties in this race. Benby has an 8-second time penalty.
Right. Safety car finally coming in this lap, so we're gonna have 6 laps of racing. It looks like the rain has stopped, but it's definitely not good enough for a change of tires yet again. I don't imagine anyone going back to the dries. So yeah, Cremo is going to be leading us away into the restart of the race. Behind him, F1 Hub, Jado in P3, Benby P4, and Jordy unfortunately in P5. And there's immediately a big gap following, and I'm still seeing safety car minimap. I don't know if that's a new safety car, hopefully not. But yeah, Cremo and F1 Hub having a huge gap. And what's going on?
Jato was not expecting that. Cremo went on the exit of
and Benby
Stowe.
is off the track for some reason. He's responsibly taking the escape road, or never mind, he isn't, but it's not giving him any sort of penalty. Okay, that's a very interesting. Oh, that's a collision between Skills Virus and Anu, who is struggling to get out of the way. The positions didn't really change, apart from Maritim's overtaking Skills Virus and all of that collision with Anu trying to get out of the way.
Down the inside here. Gonna drift wide, or very close to collision there, but Rightums gets the place. I think that's Geordie going for a move around the outside of Benby. He's had a look. Rightums is also having a look now. Rightums taking some really, really unconventional lines here, but the lines you sort of want to take, you want to stick your tyres in the wet.
A virtual safety car, okay. What happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have been Nurtmar. He's dropped off quite a fair bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's down to P8, and the penalty he still has a drive-through to serve.
He did go into the pits during the safety car, but I think he's on the softs.
Wait, he's on the softs?
Oh, it stopped raining. It stopped raining.
I told you it stopped raining, but I don't think everyone is going to go.
I didn't hear that, but he's gone on the softs. There's still water on the track. He's sticking to the dry line. That's why he's dropped off so much. I suppose it was a gamble, but I mean a gamble with... I mean, he's got a drive-through penalty, so that'll really put him out, but at least he'll score some points here.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, that Anu was struggling throughout the entire race, doing stupid stuff, and Matmar speeding in the pit lane. Oh, that's a race to forget for him.
17 seconds of penalties for him, unfortunately.
Oh my god. Okay, so we have 4 laps left, with Matmar definitely out of contention for overtaking anyone, but yeah, interesting to point out that okay, Bemby and Skills Virus having a very heated battle side by side, wheel to wheel, struggling to keep the car on the track, but Bemby is gone. Bemby's gone.
He's out. That's it. He's out of the session. Oh, he clipped.
And that's not a safety car.
It was two little laps left for a safety car.
Oh, there we go.
Nope, there's a VSC, and it should end next lap. That's so unfortunate. Probably Skills went wide, and then came back on track and might have hit him. I don't know how it happened, but that's sort of the reaction of the car there with the physics is sort of what I can see and think is what happened. We don't know. We'll find out. That's just unfortunate for him. He'll still pick up points, but... he could have had,
was that another side pod glitch? Like he touched the side of this car and he just went off into outer space?
I think it was a collision with his front right and Skills.
Yeah, both of them were really struggling to keep the car in a straight line. They were both like really twitching, so it was really unfortunate that Skills Virus was the one that, you know, just catapulted him into the barrier.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ben that he's been catapulted into the barrier, but...
So out of 15 people starting this race, only 6 are actually going to finish it on the same lap. So not sure what to think about that, but yeah, okay.
I want to appreciate the perseverance of Anu here. He's a lap down. He has been the whole race.
But he's just hoping to get some points off of surviving.
He's gonna get points. He's gonna get 8th place. Well, despite being lapped, the amount of collisions and carnage there has been, he's going to get 8th place despite being a lap down.
And he was also the one that caused so many collisions, so maybe that was his plan all along.
Maybe, but unless he gets disqualified, no amount of penalties will demote him from the position that he will gain.
That's a good point, yeah.
So, yeah, despite being a bad race because he's been lapped, he's been lapped twice. He's 3 minutes and 39 seconds behind the
17 seconds worth of penalties. Okay.
Yeah, he's been lapped twice. And Matmar not looking like he's having a good race, but
he's gonna get points.
F1 having Primo here that I think the track is looking dry enough for the dry tires.
Yeah, but is it worth it? This is Brazil 28 all over again.
I don't think, unless everyone else decides to pit, I don't think you'll catch them with 3 laps left. With the amount of time you lose in the pit lane, because I think it's about a 30-35 second pit lane.
Yeah, but if you have another virtual safety car, which, given what's happening here, is still very much possible.
Well, with the amount of wars F1 Hub almost loses it, really showing that it is time for dry tyres. It might be unbearable though. You might have to pit for the dries.
Yeah, but if the first person, if Cremo doesn't do it, I don't think the rest of the field will try to do it though. This is like the last place, last time that you can actually try and make it work, because if you pit on the last lap, you're definitely not getting that time back. But 2 laps, it's still bearable maybe.
F1 Hub is not enjoying these conditions at all. He has dropped considerably far back from Cremo, and Jato has closed in a lot. So we could be looking for a race on intermediates on a dry track here. So battling, that will only end, badly. I don't see it ending well. But he's really closing in.
Oh, look at that. He's really struggling through the Beckett section. Jato is immediately on top of him, and he gets the move. He just gets the move done just because of how big of a struggle that was through that section. And yeah, Jordy's gonna get him as well, maybe. The DRS is still not enabled though.
Even though Jordy has the 5-second penalty, I reckon he might be able to pull away enough. Although Wrightims is
close.
Yeah, very close behind. He's very close. Although he does have 3 seconds, so he has to stay 2 seconds behind Jordy here for Jordy to keep the place.
That's possible.
That is possible. He needs to keep the 4/10 advantage, although it's dropping like a fly now because he's stuck behind.
DRS is enabled right now, but it's too late to make a difference, I don't think.
Skills Virus has decided to come in. He could be going for the fastest lap here, which is
a good point.
Clever strategy. It's a very clever strategy.
He doesn't have anything to lose, literally. So I don't think that's gonna hurt him in any way.
Jordy right on the back of F1 Hub, and that'll be him through and place done. I think Jecto is going for the move around the outside of Cremo. No, it's a lapped car. It's a lap car.
Right, so the 2 racing points actually on the podium after so much that happened. So maybe, just maybe, those racing points could start a constructors fight with Williams. But given how many reserves switch in and out of teams, it's really hard to keep track of what team will be performing consistently better throughout the season.
Now what Jordy needs here is he needs F1 Hub to hold up Wrightims as much as he can.
I think F1 Hub will do just that.
Jordy can get what he needs to get away. DRS is open.
And yeah, that's an easy move.
Yeah, and he will now slot in ahead. Yeah, and that's the position gained.
Another 3 seconds from Matt
20 seconds for Matt Maher. He's going for a world record here, and no. He's within the 2 seconds time frame that he needs to be to get this podium place. It's going to be a race of time here to get this podium. The 5 seconds will not be removed for Jordy as it was speeding in the pit lane infringement.
Yeah, but Cremo will probably get slotted into P2. But I still don't have his contact, so if anyone does, I would really love to get him in the interview room.
Yeah, Cremo at this rate, well, no, he will, because he might not. But I think he'll keep a podium place, actually. So he'll still be in the interview room. Whether he gets the win or not will be determined after the race has concluded.
Yeah, so the rest of the field really not much battling going into the last lap, as F1 Hub went from hero to 0 very quickly. Is now down in P5. Thankfully he doesn't have any penalties whatsoever, so kudos to him for at least doing that. But
if he holds on, he could jump the both of them here.
Yeah, that's oh yeah, it's true. He will get Wrightims though at the end, but maybe Jordy. But yeah, Cremo coming around the final corner to round out the win, maybe. After the penalty gets lifted, he really deserves it in my opinion. And then Jado, the only person without penalties, apart from F1 Hub, going into the virtual race lead for the time being. And F1 Hub actually gets P3. Oh, never.
Jordy stays ahead of Wrightims, and F1 Hub gets the podium. So that's, although he was really, really struggling on that tyre, thanks to the penalties and keeping it clean, he was able to keep that position. And it'll be Skills who comes home in P6 here with Arnu in P8.
Yeah, this race turned on its head multiple times. It's really hard to keep track of this.
And
so yeah, if who is F1 Hub? Very good question. And how do we get him into the interview room? That's our next objective.
So Matma runs out of fuel at the end of the race and gets 23 seconds of penalties. Not a great race for him. It was started off so well, but it just at the end it just did not pan out the way he wanted it to. Right, we're gonna get these guys in now. So we need.
Alright, we have I have Jado, that's not a problem. But I don't have Cremo or F1 Hub, or at least I don't know who F1 Hub is officially. I don't know if that's.
Let me try this.
I don't know what card to put into the showroom for the interview, as I don't know if the penalty will get lifted.
Put the racing point for now, as we'll go off the official. We go off the game's results.
Yeah.
Just for the interview, and then.
All right.
It's only an interview, so the points and stuff.
The Instagram chat is really ignoring me at this point. That's very nice.
Cremo and invite, and.
You have Cremo?
I don't. I just get there.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, you're supposed to have them added. Otherwise, they won't see your shit. I forgot about that. Oh. Well, I don't know. What last time?
Oh yeah, Yarno said that he will invite F1 Hub if we invite him. So that kind of makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. Add players. J2 Racing. Okay. Alright. Apparently, Cremo is here, but he's not joined in just yet. Alright. Just... hello. We're just waiting for one more person. There we go. Finally.
Full interview room.
Fucking finally. Alright, does everyone's mic work and does everyone hear me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Alright then, let's begin. First off, congratulations for actually surviving the race. That must have been really hard.
I guess.
Okay, let's go from the top. Cremo, you've shown a very consistent pace on the wet conditions. Did it involve a lot of practice, or did you just happen to have good pace and better than others?
Hi guys, hi to everyone. I didn't practice at all. I came here like a tourist, to be fair. But I was pretty happy about my pace on the wet tires. So yeah, I was pretty surprised that I managed to create a gap with the guys behind me. So yeah, happy about it. Then came the safety car out, and someone just ran on me and gave me 5-second penalty, and from there on, I lost my win.
Yeah, talk us through the penalty around the safety car. We didn't see much of it, so what happened?
Well, I just catch the safety car, and the driver who was second he didn't stop. He just ran into me. He broke his wing, and we both had a 5-second penalty, so I couldn't do anything. And I hope the stewards will give me my win, because I think I deserve my win. I did a great race, and I lost it because of those 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, we're sure that the stewards will have a look at that. Also, kudos to F1 Hub and Jado for finishing the race without any penalties. Question to the both of you: did you really focus on being consistent, or was it just kind of lucky?
I mean,
go on, Jana.
Oh yeah, like for me, like I mean, I seem to not get a lot of penalties anymore last couple of weeks, and it's just like steadily improving on my consistency, because I feel that overall not getting any penalties saves you more than the 10th lap extra. So yeah, like I mean, just kept it on track, and that was it. I haven't fought with anyone all race. I mean, I survived turn 1, got through, and that's it. And I mean, I don't think I deserve the win. Penalty should be removed, but then P2 is again a good result. I mean, I woke up 15 minutes before the race, so can't really complain.
Yeah, you showed how sleepy you were during the qualifying session. Did your pace, like in comparison with your race result, your qualifying pace wasn't so great? Like, how do you explain that?
Well, the thing is, like, my friends used to call me the tier 1 limitless of our friends group racing-wise, because I'm so fucking awful at qualifying. I mean, I think in my whole league racing career, and I've done many leagues, and I've done it for like 7 months, I only have scored like 4 or 5 pole positions, and like 10, 11, 12 wins. So like, it's not a surprise for me that I'm very bad at qualifying. But yeah, I mean, invalidating your lap twice and then being a bit dumb with the pace is not really good. But yeah, it's just a habit of me that I'm terrible in qualifying, so I'm not surprised.
How do you judge the first race in Bahrain that didn't go so well for you, and all of a sudden you find yourself on the podium?
Well, the thing I know at the pace in Bahrain, people were really quick with clicking the ready button, so I couldn't adjust my tire pressures like I wanted for the race, which meant my rear tires had very high pressure, which meant they worn a lot, and basically like the 2 laps practice I did and how the car felt in qualifying was massively different to the race, because those tire pressures made a lot of difference. So like when the tires I think crossed like 30% wear, I just went on the throttle as like I did on the first and the second lap, and the car just went, and I couldn't get it straight anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people got robbed because of it.
Yeah, that was the same, because my pace was okay and I could have scored some okay points.
Question for F1 Hub: how did you get here? Like, are you reserved for this league? It's not meant to be as an offensive question. I'm really curious.
I was with Yano in a party, and then he said he was doing. I knew he was doing CWR, and I said, "Can I join?" So I actually knew I was racing after your qualifying started, which was quite fun.
The man's quick. I actually didn't want him to race, but he did.
Is he going to be racing for more races after
this? I don't
this?
think so. I don't think so. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
The men's most of the time sleep at this time, so. But yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I know I have good race pace, and I know that you saw the first bit of last season that like somehow I always qualify outside the top 5 and I stay on track not to get penalties. Somehow I always end up in the top 3. It's like it's kind of like fucking wizardry, but I'm not unhappy. It was fun.
All right,
it's challenging but fun today.
If F1 Hub doesn't intend on racing in this league anymore, so this question is just gonna be for the 2 of you. Like, what are your going into the future? What are your championship ambitions? Like, where do you aim on finishing?
I mean, I won the 5 round championship. I scored the most points, because you can't really call me champion. But like, I mean, I don't really have high expectations. Just here to make like my 2 most important leagues are on Saturday and Sunday night. So this is basically like my warm up for the weekend. So it's not like that I'm like gonna cry when I win the championship, and that it's like a really, really big deal for me. So it's just like a warm up.
You do realize you're on their live stream, mate. You probably shouldn't criticize it that much.
No, I'm not criticizing the league. I'm having fun here, but it's like it's not that important to me.
Right. I'm sure we're also just as important to you.
You're very important to me.
All right. What are Crymo's ambitions going for the future?
Well, I'm pretty much confident about my future. I hope I will do my best to forget my first 2 races, my race in Bahrain, where I was where it was a difficult race because I've been out of competition on the first lap. Someone just ran into me and didn't have the opportunity to get back because there was no safety car. So I finished where I could finish, so in the points, but I think I can get better by avoiding contacts with others, and I hope I will keep doing this like today, avoiding contacts on the first laps and do my best to get on the podiums. This will be the objective.
All right, last question for all of you. How do you judge the patience that Anu showed finishing ninth, or I don't know if it was even 8th, after having so many penalties, colliding so much, but still finishing the race? Did you see much of him?
Yeah,
No,
I mean, if
I didn't see much of him, but
you're
respect.
in the pit lane, what's the point? You know, you're not gaining anything by being here. So I think respect to him for just not giving up, because even if it's not going to turn into a result here,
I mean, I think people
in
give
the
up a
future
bit too
he gains
quickly.
experience for that. He gains experience for the future, so good for him.
True. Yeah, like, it shouldn't be possible that you finish the race with half the drivers that started it, purely because people just tend to give up quickly. Like,
Well, if you
I
don't
know,
have a
maybe
tire, it
just
kind of
goes
makes
through.
sense.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've never really been a fan of retiring that much. When I do bad, I mean, extra laps are extra laps at the end of the day. So.
Bahrain.
Alright, well, thank you guys for actually attending the interview, and I hope to see you again next week in the podium.
What's the race next week?
Hungary.
Oh, Hungary, okay. Thank you.
Alright, see you next time then.